There's a quiet kind of power in knowing you can say yes to what brings you joy, not because it's impulsive, but because you plan for it. That's financial freedom. It isn't about having more money than you can spend. It's about having the ability to live life on your terms, with intention, clarity, and peace of mind. Financial freedom is deeply personal. For some, it's the ability to work fewer hours and spend more time with family. For others, it means affording a solo trip abroad, writing a book, volunteering, or simply not stressing over which bill is due next. It's not about luxury. It's about choice. The foundation of financial freedom is not how much you earn. It's how well you manage what you have. When people hear money management, they often think of restrictions, budgets, cutting back. But the truth is, managing your money well is not about saying no. It's about knowing when, how, and why to say yes. When your money has direction, so does your life. Think of your money as a tool, not a trophy, not a burden, but a tool. Tools are meant to build, to support, to create. When used with care, that tool becomes a bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It starts with clarity. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do I truly want to do with my life? What brings me peace, joy, or deep satisfaction? What do I need to be financially free? Not in someone else's definition, but my own. You might find that your freedom doesn't require millions. It may simply mean being debt-free, or having 6 months of expenses saved, or the ability to treat a loved one to lunch without checking your bank account first. There's beauty in redefining what wealth means to you. You don't have to live up to anyone else's version of success. You're allowed to build a life that feels good to wake up to, not just one that looks good from the outside. And once you begin to see your money this way, as something that can serve your values, managing it becomes a form of self-respect. It's not punishment. It's peace. Managing your money well doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice, just like caring for your health, your relationships, or your mind. It's built on awareness, honesty, and grace, especially with yourself. So if you're not where you want to be just yet, that's okay. Financial freedom is not a destination you arrive at in one leap. It's a path you walk, decision by decision, day by day. And it's a path worth walking, because at the end of it isn't just more money. At the end of it is you, living fully, choosing freely, and doing more what you love with the time you have. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a money mystery. They wonder where it all went. They feel caught off guard by expenses. They're not sure why they're always behind, even when their income seems good enough. But the truth is, you can't manage what you can't see. Financial freedom begins with awareness. And one of the most powerful habits you can build is tracking your spending. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't require complicated software or spreadsheets, although you can use those if you like. What matters is that you start noticing. Start paying attention. Start watching your money move. Every dollar has a direction, and when you start watching it, you start guiding it. For many people, the idea of tracking every expense feels overwhelming. But it's not about judgment. It's not about restriction. It's about curiosity. You're simply saying, let me see what's actually happening here. You might be surprised. Maybe it's $7 a day on coffee. Maybe it's 3 subscriptions you forgot you had. Maybe it's takeout 3 times a week. Not because you're lazy, but because you're tired. None of that is wrong. But it's important to know. Because once you know, you get to choose. That's the gift of awareness. It gives you the power to decide. Is this still serving me? Is this aligned with the life I want to live? Is this how I want to spend my time, energy, and money? The first time you track your spending for a week or a month, it might feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is not the enemy. It's often the beginning of clarity. And clarity brings freedom. You might realize that you're spending money out of habit, not intention. Or that you're filling emotional gaps with quick purchases. Or maybe you're doing just fine, and tracking gives you a sense of confidence you didn't know you needed. Tracking helps you reclaim control, and with it, your peace of mind. Start small. Carry a notebook. Use the Notes app on your phone. Print a simple sheet. Use a budgeting app if that feels easier. At the end of each day, just write it down. What came in? What went out? That's it. No shame. No panic. Just the truth. Over time, those truths will start forming a picture. And from that picture, you can begin to shape a plan, not one that restricts you, but one that reflects you. A plan that leaves room for joy, for rest, for the things that matter most. Because financial freedom isn't about counting every penny for the rest of your life. It's about paying attention long enough to make informed, confident decisions, and then letting those decisions carry you closer to the life you want. So today, start noticing. Let awareness be your compass. Let clarity be your next step. And let this be the moment where you begin to take your power back. Not with force, but with quiet intention. A budget is not a cage. It's a mirror and sometimes a map. The word budget tends to bring up stress for many people. They picture tight limits, denied pleasures, and the fear of getting it wrong. But a real, healthy budget is something entirely different. It's not meant to make your life smaller. It's meant to help you live with more freedom. Your budget should reflect your real life, not an imaginary version of who you think you should be. When you create a budget that's honest, it can support your goals, protect your peace, and empower your choices. It shows you where you are and helps you move with intention toward where you want to go. So where do you begin? Start by looking at what's most important to you. Not just the bills, those matter, of course, but also the things that make your life feel full. Time with your family, quiet mornings with coffee, travel, art, music, giving, rest. These are not extras. They are the reasons why managing your money matters. Next, look at what's non-negotiable. Your rent or mortgage, utilities, food, transportation, debt payments. These are the foundations, and your budget should make space for them first. From there, ask yourself, what brings me joy that I want to make room for? What habits do I want to change or keep? Where do I want to go financially, personally, spiritually? And how can my budget support that? Give every dollar a purpose, not out of pressure, but out of clarity. There's a budgeting principle called zero-based budgeting. It simply means that every dollar of income gets assigned to a job. That doesn't mean spending everything. Savings, giving, and fun can all be jobs too, but nothing is left floating. This approach builds intention into your life. It gives you permission to spend on what matters and guidance on what to say no to. And here's the best part. Your budget is not set in stone. It evolves with you. Life changes. Income changes. Priorities change. The goal is not perfection. It's awareness. It's peace. It's the knowledge that you are choosing, not just reacting. You might find that budgeting brings up some emotions. That's normal. Many of us were not taught how to manage money. We learned through stress, scarcity, or shame. But now you get to change that story. You get to build something different. One small shift at a time. Start with 1 month. Look at what's coming in. Look at what must go out. Then make space for what matters most. Use pen and paper, a budgeting app, or a simple spreadsheet. Whatever helps you stay consistent and honest. The power of budgeting isn't in restriction. It's in direction. Because when your money has a plan, your life does too. Debt can feel like a shadow, always present, always pulling the edges of your peace. It's not just a number on paper. For many people, it's emotional. It carries stories, choices, regrets, survival, sacrifice. But here's the truth. Having debt doesn't make you irresponsible. It makes you human. Facing debt is not about shame. It's about clarity. And clarity is the first step to freedom. Many people avoid looking at their debt because of how it makes them feel. The total might seem overwhelming. The interest rate's confusing. The monthly payment's stressful. But hiding from it doesn't make it go away. What it does is steal your power, because you can't fix what you won't face. And when you face it with grace, you reclaim your ability to choose. Start simple. Write it down. All of it. List the name of the lender, the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. You're not doing this to panic yourself. You're doing it to take the guesswork out of your next step. Once you see it, you can plan. Some people prefer the debt snowball method. paying off the smallest debts first to build momentum. Others prefer the debt avalanche, focusing on the highest interest rates to save money long term. There's no perfect way. There's only the way that works for you. The most important thing is consistency. Even if it feels small, $10 extra on a payment here, $50 more there, those choices add up. Over time, they shift the story from one of stress to one of progress. And don't forget, progress is emotional, too. As you pay off debt, you're also shedding fear. Shame, the constant weight of what if. That weight may not show up in your bank statements, but it shows up in how you sleep, how you walk, how you think. You deserve to be free from that. And being free doesn't mean you never had debt. It means you chose to face it and walk your way through it with courage. This journey will ask for patience, but it also gives you power. You begin to see money differently. You stop chasing instant gratification. You learn to say no, not as punishment, but as a promise to your future self. You learn to ask better questions. You make wiser decisions. You begin to build a foundation that's yours. And that's what financial freedom really is, not just having money, but having ownership of your choices. Knowing your values, knowing your numbers, and most of all, knowing you are capable of change. You are not the total of your debt. You are not your past decisions. You are not stuck. You are someone who's taking a step today toward freedom, and step by step is how it happens. Financial freedom isn't just about numbers. It's about life. The kind of life that fills you up instead of wearing you down. It's easy to get caught in the trap of believing you have to wait until everything is perfect before you can enjoy yourself. That you have to be debt-free, earn six figures, or save an exact amount before permission is granted to live fully. But the truth is this: you can begin now. Right now, with what you have, you can start building a life that reflects your values, your joy, your purpose. Because financial freedom is not just the absence of stress. It's the presence of intention. It's choosing what matters. It's making room for the small things that bring you peace. It's giving yourself permission to do what you love. Not someday, but now, in ways that are thoughtful, simple, and deeply personal. For some, that might mean setting aside $20 each month to fund a creative hobby. Painting, music, dance, gardening. For others, it might mean a savings jar for weekend getaways, or planning your meals to free up cash for a date night, or creating space in your schedule for volunteering, resting, or learning something new. Whatever it is, it doesn't need to be big to be real. It just needs to reflect you. When your money supports what brings you alive, you begin to move differently. You're not just surviving, you're creating. And that creation sends ripples through your entire life. You begin to find more satisfaction in the simple. You begin to take pride in what you're building. You begin to let go of comparison, because what you're creating is yours. Here's something powerful to remember. You don't have to justify joy. You don't need permission to rest, to create, to explore, to laugh. These aren't rewards for good financial behavior. They are parts of whole life, and budgeting for them is not irresponsible. It's wise. You are allowed to enjoy your money. You're allowed to live a little. And you're allowed to do it in a way that supports both your future and your present. Financial freedom is not about punishment. It's about possibility. You've already taken steps by getting clear, tracking, budgeting, facing your fears. Now it's time to connect the dots between your money and your meaning. What makes you feel most alive? What experiences or rhythms give you peace? What memories do you want to create? Make space for those things. You don't have to wait for perfection. Start with $5. Start with a Saturday. Start with a walk, a sketchbook, a picnic, a plan. Just start. Because when your money starts reflecting your heart, your entire life starts to shift. This is what managing your money is for. Not just survival, not just control, but freedom. The kind that lets you breathe deeper, laugh louder, and walk with a little more joy. Not someday, but now.